what was the last plan that you made? Was it what you're going to eat for dinner tonight? Mapping out a fun road trip with some friends? Maybe it was how to tackle that really cool thesis research that you're doing. Or were you one of the millions of Americans last year who made a plan of how to kill themselves? Suicide plans form a critical part of risk assessment. Clinicians use this information to determine who is at acute risk for suicide, and they're associated with increased odds of suicide attempts and death. As such, our understanding of suicide plans is of critical importance, yet our knowledge lags far behind what's needed. Over the past 50 years of research, fewer than 10 studies have attempted to predict suicide plans. And these studies attempted prediction on the order of years, rather than days to weeks, as might be most useful for clinicians. So our ability to predict suicide plans is of vital importance. If we were able to better predict suicide plans, we may be able to intervene earlier in individuals at risk for suicide without requiring all of the resources necessary for intervention in all individuals who have ever had a suicidal thought. So my thesis research aims to fill this critical research gap. Specifically, using a large, high-risk sample, I attempted to characterize and predict suicide plans in the short term. Given past research that has shown that our ability to predict suicidal outcomes using traditional statistical methods is at about chance level, I elected to use machine learning approaches to try and predict suicide plans in the short term. So study participants were recruited from mental health-related internet forums, and they completed surveys over the course of a month to help to construct this algorithm. But let's take a step back. What is machine learning? So machine learning is a way of analyzing information that allows systems to learn from data, find patterns in data, and make decisions about data using minimal human intervention. So in traditional research methods, what we do as researchers is we define specifically what different features are and how they fit together. When we take a machine learning approach, we define the final output and allow the machine to find the optimal function to fit it. And taking this research approach makes sense. Researchers have come to realize that suicide is a really complex phenomenon, and so we need to use methods that excel at handling complexity to be able to address research and predict it. So, turning to results. So, to orient you to this graph, traditional attempts at predicting suicide plans have hovered right around the 0.5 or the chance level. On this graph, a 1 represents perfect prediction. You're perfectly predicting who is going to attempt to kill themselves or who is going to attempt to plan a suicide attempt. So my machine learning algorithm, using a complex combination of features, reached accuracy levels of 0.798 at 3 days, ranging out to 0.779 at 28 days out from the suicide plan, which represents a large increase in our ability to predict suicide plans and may help to guide more effective interventions in those at the highest risk. However, there are some questions that remain and that have been sparked by this research. For instance, when should we use algorithms in healthcare? What level of accuracy does an algorithm need to be for it to inform our clinical decisions? That's my future research. Thank you for hearing me.
Thank you, Kathryn.